the thing that happened this week that was just amazing to me was Joe Biden at the Air Force Academy graduation, and he took this fall. If you're watching, you can see it. He says he tripped over a sandbag. He was funny about it. He said it was a sandbag, but he's fallen a lot now. And of course, as you get old, people lose their balance, and he had to be helped up to his feet. It was just terrible. You don't want to see the guy hurt, obviously. But I will say this: I'm glad that didn't happen to me, because Shapiro would have me embalmed before I had a chance to get back up. But still, you look at that and you think, like, is this guy actually going to make it to the election? Is he going to make it to become a candidate? I really ask that because I think he's just past it. And he walks around with his mouth open. He looks like he doesn't know where he is. And, it comes for us all if we're lucky enough to live that long. But still, you shouldn't be president of the United States anymore when that point has come. So I think this is a big chance for us. If he does run, I think we can beat him. And that's why I'm watching it. And listen, I said this before when I was talking about politics. I don't want to diss Trump because I think he's the only candidate who can lose. That's actually not a good reason to not vote for him, because you still want, if he's the candidate you think is the guy, I guess you have to vote for him. But I'm watching the two candidates, and they're interesting. I'm going to give you criticisms about both. DeSantis was in Iowa, I think, and he made a speech. He's starting to kind of needle at Trump. He's not being as obvious as Trump is, attacking him with his DeSantis and DeSanctimonious, which is ridiculous. But he's starting to needle him a little bit. Here's cut 5, where you can just hear him sort of taking little hits at Trump.
Leadership is also not entertainment. It's not about building a brand. It's not about virtue signaling. It is about producing results for the people that you represent. And in Florida, we have produced those results. We are the nation's fastest growing state. We lead the nation in net in-migration and have every year since I've been governor. We were just ranked #1 in education by U.S. News and World Report. We are #1 in education freedom. We are #1 in parental involvement in education. Our crime rate is at a 50-year low, and we have the second lowest tax and debt per capita anywhere in the United States.
So this is not Mr. Excitement. I got to say, this is the big stage. This is the show, as they say in baseball. And he hasn't got the verve and the entertainment quality that Donald Trump has, and he obviously knows it, and he's right to turn it to his advantage. He's right to make a point of it. The question I always have is, are voters as malleable and manipulable as the press always depicts them? The guy's got to be handsome. He's got to look a certain way. He's got to look like Mitt Romney. He's got to, all this stuff. And then they lose, So maybe people are looking for somebody like this. We don't know. Trump certainly knows how to play to people. But recently, the thing about Trump is you follow him and you get burned in the end. He changes his mind. Remember just the other day he said that DeSantis was being silly, fighting with Disney because Disney was a business and Disney was going to pull money out. And now suddenly he says Disney has become a woke and disgusting shadow of its former self, with people actually hating it. Must go back to what it once was, or the market will do irreparable damage. This all happened during the governorship of Rob DeSanctimonious. Instead of complaining now for publicity reasons only, he should have stopped it long ago. Would have been easy to do, still is. That's nonsense, right? I mean, DeSantis had nothing to do with Disney going woke, and he fought them, and Trump made fun of him for it. So I don't know. It just doesn't play for me. He also said this. He was asked about the vaccine, and this is what he said, cut 8.
And I was able to do something that nobody else could have done, getting it done very, very rapidly. But I never was for mandates. I thought the mandates were terrible. And there's a big portion of the country that thinks that was a great thing. You understand that. Not a lot of the people in this room, but there is a big portion.
So my question then about that, is like, Trump has a wonderful knack. I mean, it's almost a magic power of driving people insane. And I mean that on both the negative side and the positive side. On the negative side, you get people who were once, incredibly mainstream, powerful, conservative voices, like the guys at National Review, who are now kind of irrelevant because they said never Trump. Well, who would say never Trump? Really? I mean, was he Al Capone or Hitler? No, he was a guy, he was a kind of boorish, brash guy, but he had accomplished a lot of things in his life, and he had a lot to say, and people liked him. And why never Trump? And then, you get guys like David French. His entire philosophy of life has changed because he hated Trump so much, and because Trump's followers did terrible things to David. But you got to stay sane going forward. And then you have the people on the other side who think that the vaccine is a murder drug. But now what do they do when Trump says, no, it was a great thing that I did. It was I don't like the mandates, but it was a great thing that I did. Do they not say, well, it was a great thing, but we don't like the they just follow him no matter what he says, even when he changes what he says. He attacked Kayleigh McEnany before because she underestimated his lead over DeSantis, which is considerable, although they're really just getting started. And he attacked her. She's been a very loyal person to him. And then all of a sudden, people were attacking Kayleigh McEnany. Oh, yeah, she sold out to Fox. She's on Fox. People used to love Fox, It's like people on Fox didn't suddenly become evil because they fired Tucker Carlson. Not everybody had a say in that decision. Nobody did except the people at the top. So I don't understand, I guess, how people are going to find their way with him if he just starts changing what he says, and if he starts, saying, are they going to change their mind to follow him? Now, DeSantis went after him. There's in a less subtle way when he was asked directly about him. This is cut 6.
So look, I'm going to respond to attacks. I mean, if you say Cuomo did a better job with COVID than Florida did, first of all, that's not what he used to say. This is like new. Like 6 months ago, he would have never said that, right? He used to say how great Florida was. Hell, his whole family moved to Florida under my governorship. Are you kidding me?
So, no, that's good stuff. But I mean, again, I don't think DeSantis has the presence, the charisma, certainly, that Trump does. I don't think he has that power to drive people crazy. But you do notice that they hate him. The left does hate him. The press keeps saying he's unlikable, which, again, I don't know. Are voters that dumb? That's how dumb the press wants to make them. And I think I can see why they say that, that he's unlikable in the sense that, you don't immediately see him and think, oh, I really want to, have coffee with that guy. People say that around Trump when they get close to Trump. So Trump has a lot of power. He has a lot of charisma, and I admire that, and I admire the way he uses it. I admire his verve, and I admire his courage a great deal. But it does seem to me that he is just shaped by the winds right now. This is very early on. This is why the whole thing with the polls, I mean, Trump is maybe 20% up over DeSantis in most of the polls. But it's so early that it's really hard to judge right now. Right now, what I see is a guy, DeSantis, who is really going to have to get his game up. He's going to have to, have a better game on the national stage. And in Trump, I just wonder, how far will his followers, will they follow him? Will they say, yes, DeSantis was wrong to attack Disney. But yes, Disney has gotten too woke and has to be changed. And that thing that only I can fix it, and I'd fix it in a day. I'll end the war in a day. I'll do this in a day. No, he's just not. And are we just going to believe him and follow him along because he is so charismatic? I don't know. It's really interesting to watch. Right now, if I had to bet money right this minute, of course I would bet on Trump to win the primaries. I think I would bet on him to lose the election. Everything can change. I'm just kind of following this as we go along and just giving you my impressions as we go along and just trying to be as honest about it as I can. For more great stuff, like and subscribe. And also, please subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.